This is me. This is Allie. We're married. But our pop culture references go over each other's heads. So this is the show where we bridge our cultural gap. This is Allie Hasn't. Hey everybody! Welcome back. It's been a hot minute, but it's me, Doug.
And it's your friendly neighborhood cotton candy princess, Allie.
Allie got her hair all pinked up. So that's kind of cool, hey?
Thank you.
Today we are watching Transformers. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's got a kind of hard. It's silver on silver, so yeah, that should be okay.
Not to be confused with the live-action Michael Bay movie.
Correct. Well, I mean, actually, there's been tons of iterations of Transformers over the years.
What did it start off as?
It was originally a toy line / cartoon.
Oh, I thought the cartoon. Oh.
Well, okay. So here's the thing about the '80s. Toy lines and cartoons, they just came out at the same time because they were the cartoons were basically there to promote the toys. It was a symbiosis of marketing. You know, kids watch the show, they buy the toys. They buy the toys, they watch more of the show. That was basically all of '80s kids entertainment.
And in the '90s and even 2000s, like it kept occurring. I mean, you had Yu-Gi-Oh, Beyblade.
It was most prevalent in the '80s because there was laws passed that allowed it to happen, where before kids entertainment could not be marketed to selling things to kids. Where that changed in the Reagan era, and thus the big wave of like G.I. Joe's, Transformers, He-Man, Thundercats, they were all there to promote toy lines from that point forward.
Gotcha.
Very profitable, well, at least a lot of them were. But among these many shows, one of the most popular by far was the Transformers. And that's what we're going to watch. We're going to watch the first 3 episodes of the original Transformers series, commonly referred to as Transformers G1 or Generation 1.
Do you have any stories regarding this show?
I know that I used to watch it as a little kid, but I do not remember much about the actual show and me actually watching it during its original run. Steve, my older brother, might have more clear memories of that because he's got a few years on me. I remember as a kid me wanting to watch the show more and wondering why it wasn't on TV anymore.
Oh.
But I don't remember me watching it.
Ah.
However, a little bit later in life, I was still a kid, but I was significantly older, probably, and this is more in the mid-ish 90s. We went to a video store and we saw what looked like a Transformers movie on the shelves. And I knew that there was a Transformers the movie, like a theatrically released movie. So we rented it thinking it was that, but it was not. It was actually the 3-part pilot collected together as if it was one movie.
Gotcha.
On a VHS. We had it for a week. We watched it many times that week. Yourself. I can understand why you have not seen Transformers, given that it's before your time.
Yeah, this aired like what, in the 80s?
It's older than me. It's from 1984.
Yeah,
originally.
So I didn't really watch shows like that till the 2000s. Because like that's when I started watching Card Captors and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Sailor Moon. I was like watching that straight up in the 90s. Mm-hmm. I don't know, even then, like Transformers was never really kind of my thing. Even when the live action movie came out, it was like I watched it, but it's kind of like, okay, that's kind of cool. Although I did really enjoy Bumblebee. Yeah, that was a really good one.
It's had a lot of different iterations, again, as I've mentioned over the years, of widely varying quality. You're no stranger to my love for Beast Wars, which was sort of the resurgence in the 90s.
It's one of the first things I learned about you.
Yeah, that's right. That guy's got a lot of Transformers.
Hey, well, the first time I ever saw all of your Transformers, the first thing I thought was just like, oh my god, I can show him all of my Mass Effect stuff and he won't get weirded out.
Yeah, I won't tell you anything about this show because we're about to watch it and let's get your reaction.
So this is the first iteration.
This was North America's first impression of the Transformers.
Transformers OG, let's do this.
Okay.
Fun fact, I have a difficult time watching movies or TV shows or anything without subtitles.
So my apologies. Wait, should I see if I... Yeah, no subtitles, sorry.
I'm gonna be asking you what the heck. What's gonna make it harder is like if they have that weird effect in their voice.
Oh.
I really won't be able to tell what they're saying.
Okay.
Many millions of years ago, on the planet Cybertron.
I have to really focus.
There's not enough energy in these conductors to last the cortex.
Hey, let's get back to Iacon.
I'm missing some words, mostly like names of
I
things.
bet Optimus Prime will be glad to see us.
Yeah, there's a little bit of jargon in there. Icon, I think, is the Autobot HQ.
Autobots, stop them!
He said Decepticon. Okay. But he said Autobots.
The Decepticon was saying Autobots, stop them. Autobots, exclamation mark.
Oh, gotcha. I thought it was a comma.
Ah, there you go. These security guards, they suck.
That's Bumblebee?
Mm-hmm. It is interesting that they have no idea what Earth is, but they named him after an Earth insect.
I have no idea what he just said.
They're going underground, we'll never catch them out. Oh, he's gonna be tough.
Are those words?
He's hard to understand at the best of times. So, I'm so sorry.
This is why I hate talking on phones, because a lot of times I sometimes will cut out. Sometimes people sound like that to me.
Like, the world is Soundwave to you. I guess we gotta really count on the visual storytelling.
I'm not the only one, by the way. My whole family's like this. Especially Kim is legit deaf. Like, she wears a hearing aid and everything. And my cousins cannot watch anything without subtitles.
The Decepticons must find it first. The Autobots would have lost eons ago if I'd been calling the shots. My time will come, Megatron.
Is it really wise
To say, right?
to exercise some insubordination? like really?
No. If there's one thing you're gonna learn about Starscream, wisdom is not exactly his wheelhouse.
Go! Ignition.
Here's a question: How do they reproduce? Sorry. Are they organic?
No, they're entirely mechanical.
Like, so they build it like in robots? Like literally, they got a box and they put them together.
Sound is awesome though. They must just build, but there's something that needs to happen that actually makes them just not robots and actually have like real life. And I think that's explored a little bit later in the series, but I don't remember all the specifics.
Like, do they have parents?
Not in the biological sense.
Okay, so since I've never really caught it, why are they leaving?
The Autobots at the moment need to find another source of energon. Yeah, because Cybertron's drying up. They're running out of energy to fuel themselves. Because all the energy's gone towards serving the war.
G-forces.
4 million years it later.
Yeah, go. She got that.
Thanks.
I love the incidental music.
I am the bad guy, you can tell by my voice.
And his angry eyebrows.
How do we know Cybertron still exists? It must exist. And if this man
Yeah,
is
it didn't die like Krypton. I'm a bad guy because I have a missile attached to my arm.
Hey, it's a good indicator.
I'm just saying goodbye.
I like him, he's dumb.
Starscream?
Yeah, ultimate himbo.
He is a very popular character.
Thanks.
I always found that hilariously abrupt. Thanks. It's like, oh.
This is gonna be my favorite part because I'm. It's all I hear.
Right here, Prime. Scout here. If you can locate the Decepticons.
Well,
turn me loose.
right now they're just trying to build a new ship.
I'm going to.
And they want to stop them from doing that?
The idea is probably just that the Decepticons are probably up to no good.
We won't be staying in long.
They can talk while in their vehicle form?
No, I do.
That's hilarious.
Just bombed the Decepticons.
Why is that hilarious?
Follow me.
Just imagine like a talking car. Like you can see like there's a talking robot, but just could you imagine like
Your throttle, Cliff
a
Jumper.
car passing by?
he's
just
like, "What's
talking,"
up?
And then like, what?
Find 'em.
The Autobots. Impossible. They're the only ones.
Soundwave.
Or the natives of the planet, possibly.
Laser beam. Prepare for flight. Course heading northeast.
Yeah, I didn't catch any of that.
Course heading northeast.
Damn it.
Ah, thank you. Keeping in theme of me not being able to understand like what they're saying sometimes, like in the live action movie when Bumblebee's speaking through the radio,
Yeah.
can't understand a word he's saying.
Oh, well, it's all just like songs and stuff, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know what he just said.
Yeah, it's very cryptic at best, anyway. It's one of the reasons I'm not the biggest fan of Bumblebee not being able to talk, which is something that the movies introduced.
That's not something that'll happen here.
No, he's not a mute. The whole G1 series, he could talk.
So one of them said, "Was that an ambulance?"
Yeah.
I like how they look like vehicles that are on Earth.
I don't know if you caught it. What was going on is that the repair thing. One of the things that happens is that basically there's this little.
Oh,
thing-
that's what it was doing.
It was scanning Earth vehicles.
Yeah.
And then rebuilding them to transform into those because that's.
Gotcha.
that's what
Okay,
they
so
do.
that's what that. Okay.
So that's why on Cybertron they transformed into things that did not look like Earth vehicles, because they're robots. in disguise.
I saw that happening, but I didn't really put two and two together.
Okay. This is one of the things that that I've always found a little odd about some Transformers is that it made sense for the toys, like that this Transformer would turn into a camera,
Yeah.
but in here it's these guys, they turn into a camera and suddenly they're like so much smaller, they suddenly reduce in size, and it works in animation because you can kind of just cheat it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really explain anything. It doesn't really actually make any sense.
When do they scan a jaguar cougar thing?
It's like a panther, yeah, or
A wildcat.
yeah. Actually, I think I have this is a USB stick I have that turns into Ravage.
Is that what that was? That we just showed him?
Going after the
Yeah, basically, he turns into the panther guy.
He's a cop.
Oh, here.
He's
Here's a chance to get to know everybody.
I don't know what names he's saying. Ironheart.
Ironheart.
Arr.
Sideswipe.
And mechanical pirates.
See? It's not a perfect representation of Ravage, but it's a because that one turns into a cassette. This one turns into a USB stick.
They're just throwing wrenches.
Well, what else are they supposed to do? Look at the size of these.
Hide! Run! Oh my god!
Well, I guess
Oh my god! Oh.
there's a lot of commitment to the company.
Funny how they seem so competent working in this alien world. I would have loved to see them like as like fish out of water. Just like, what is this? What are you fleshy things?
What is it? What is it? Ew! It's mushy. Ew! Oh yeah, Megatron turns into a gun. Actually, that was very controversial.
Showing a gun in a kids' TV show?
Well, not necessarily that, but the fact that the toy transformed into like a pistol-looking thing. Future incarnations of Megatron had to turn into different things because it looked too real.
Oh. Ah yes, just sink that. Just, oh my god! Look at all that oil!
Oh, the poor environment.
Oh, why? Why'd you gotta do that?
Think of the ducks. Think of the oil-covered ducks.
Keep your heads above water.
No, really?
Whew. Allie gets condescending.
That's the most useless advice ever. Keep your head above water. What do you think I'm gonna do?
Oh, I'm gonna drown myself. Whew. You're right, I can breathe way better up here.
Wait, someone's name's Scatman Crothers? That's a really unfortunate name. I'm sorry.
I think he's the guy who plays jazz, actually. That guy. I thought it was a cool name. That's not.
Scatman?
I'm assuming that it's a stage name of some sort.
Why?
Why? Was there something I don't know?
Scat means who?
Scat?
Yeah.
A scat man is somebody who sings scat, like
Oh!
scat music.
Oh.
Like shoo doo wop doo doo wah.
Oh, that's right. English is my second language. I say as if I did it. As if I school.
You speak fluent English. Don't you try and hide under the IE.
I know.
My second.
But
You're
it's
better
true.
at English than most people I know.
It's true though. It is. Well, okay.
It is your second language. This is true, but it has become your primary language.
It has. I totally forgot about music.
In search of precious
I feel like some guy's gonna be like, yeah, my name's Poopman. I'm Johnny Scheitman. How you doing, guys? I've never heard scat used as poop before.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I've heard shat.
Oh.
I shat myself.
Or that's what people have come up with a portmanteau for a sheep and a cat put together.
So this is funny because this character right here, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He just wasn't there the last episode, and now he's here.
Yeah. This one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the funny things is that they didn't quite exactly have the mythos and the abilities of like all the characters down at this point in time.
Yeah.
So at this point they could do so many things, but like in later episodes after the pilot, like the Autobots can't just fly like that. This is something that they can only do in these episodes. Like everyone can just like fly. We're like, all right, we're there. I guess the plot necessitated it, but then after that they're like, no.
Yeah, it's similar to when Kim and I were rewatching Teen Titans.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like they didn't establish what everyone's powers were. Like Raven and Starfire have different abilities that never show up later again in the show.
I sure wants to know how we transform, Hound.
Well, like this.
Like this.
I just thought I was joking. So yeah, Spike decided to bring Soundwave into the base. See, again, he turned small. Just something about that I never gelled with. Some people are able to accept it, but I'm just like, no, it doesn't make any sense.
Just the animation just reminds me of when I used to watch like the original Scooby-Doo series.
It seems pretty rough nowadays. It was, I'd say above average at the time.
I really like it though. It just reminds me of like being a little kid and just like watching cartoons.
Oh, they got the kitty. He's a bad kitty.
Bad kitty.
Largest in the Western Hemisphere. To make all the energon cubes we need.
What happened to the original ones that they had?
I think they just need more.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So,
Well, at least now they're going for hydropower.
they're still gonna do their fair share of property damage, don't worry. They're called Decepticons, but really they should have been called Vandalcons. Because they just mostly vandalize everything.
Decepticons to the power plant.
I wonder if
To the power plant.
I wonder if he's ever shot anybody by accident.
Decepticon.
What is this?
It's my handwriting, okay? See, like I told you, property damage.
He's like, how do we make this work? You shot the computer, that makes it work. Damn it!
We now return to the Transformers.
I used to love those what would you call them? The between.
Like the interludes?
Yeah, the interludes. Some of the best animation was in those parts actually, because sometimes the animation's pretty spotty in the actual episode, but
Oh, because they have to use them every episode?
yeah,
So
basically.
it's like... So he just makes Tupperware out of his chest?
Yeah, shiny Tupperware. Another thing that drives me crazy, but at the same time I kind of understand, the sizes of everybody vary so much.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, now in that shot, Rumble was almost as big as Hound, but in previous shots he was about as big as Spike.
Mm-hmm.
And Spike is way smaller than Hound, so it's just one of those things where, yeah, it's like, so inconsistent. But that's constantly a problem in a lot of old shows.
That wouldn't be enough.
The
Pillows!
energon cubes return
Return to base with the Adnatron pillows. We'll sleep well tonight.
Do they feel pain?
I think so, actually. Probably for the same purpose that we do, is to indicate if there's damage being done.
I would assume that with robots they would just have notifications.
You destroy everything you touch, Megatron.
He's got a bit of a drawl on this one. It's interesting now, watching this, because Peter Cullen and Frank Welker, they still do the voices for these characters a lot of the time. I can kind of hear how, like, Peter Cullen from Optimus, definitely, his voice has just gotten so much deeper with time. I guess, you know, he is older now, but it's just interesting how the voices evolved over the years. Oh. See? Now that's about the same size again. Ah. Spike, stop trying to contribute. I'm helping! Oh my god, I'm gonna die! That's gonna be a running thing through the whole series. Is just
He's the damsel in distress?
he basically... Oh, he's strong.
Send help! And hurry!
Thanks for chiming in, Spike. And hurry! Well, we were gonna drag our feet, but I guess we'll get the hustle on.
It's Sunstreaker and Sideswipe.
That was fast.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good response time. Well, this is interesting. Somehow, rubies are a source of energon? I don't really get it.
Defeat the Autobots. Control the planet.
You have a feeling that maybe Soundwave has heard this speech a few too many times.
He's like, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna beat the Autobots.
Come on, let's go inside.
He's not the size of a person.
I've never seen
A little bigger, but yeah. Well, the Bumblebee's consistently the smallest one. One thing I noticed a lot as well is they say each other's names a lot. I think they're really trying to like drill into kids' heads like which one is which.
So, I don't understand. How did this guy work the mines? I thought he was working on the oil rig.
Good point, good point.
It's 60 seconds? Those aren't seconds! That's an arbitrary countdown!
Check it out.
Oh, they're Cybertronian seconds.
I'll use roller.
No.
Brian, you alright?
Looks bad, Jazz.
I like how he says, oh, it looks bad, but I'm just like, this is an Earth vehicle. How do you know it looks bad? Well, I guess if they have the schematics, then they're just like, oh, I guess that's not what it's supposed to do.
Oh, and I don't see any dents. He actually looks pretty good.
I've almost got it.
Is this a part of his storyline? Like him being unable to transform?
But it's just that he's damaged. I think it was an excuse to kind of show off how they transform a bit.
Land of moving part and bang.
He's a little overzealous.
Well, if I had a cool drill gun like that, I probably would be stoked to use it as well. I'm like, oh, finally I get to use this thing.
I thought we had it.
Here's your friend Megatron to keep you company.
Well, animation error.
Yeah, he's
Who's
Yeah.
in front of the
bar.
bar.
Big Hall of Difference.
I was trying to figure out what the heck that was. I was like, what?
You just gave me a great idea.
The Decepticons have won.
He's, wow, that's...
Isn't over yet, Megatron.
Yeah, he's a very enthusiastic laugher. Oh, it's not like Star Wars sound effects.
Space cruiser ready for boarding. So
Space cruiser ready for...
Boarding.
Oh, thank you.
it is time to return to Cybertron.
It is time to return to Cybertron.
I gotta do it a specific way or else I'll shoot myself in the face.
It's a quick way for the war to end.
I guess in theory he would sound cool, I just don't know what he's saying.
Well, and you know, and that I totally get because he is hard to understand.
Only one of us is going back, Megatron.
Less talking, more fighting, come on.
Well, good throw.
It's like Battle of Helm's Deep when you have like the kid throwing the rock.
Megatron. Megatron.
You definitely can't accuse him of underacting. I don't know, Prime. We're not feeling it. Can you sell it a little more?
We now return to the transform.
Just like having like sobbing snot everywhere. No! Nice. So I guess they're just indestructible, huh?
They can take a bit of a beating.
I'm fine.
They're indestructible now until it's mandated that the characters need to die.
Yeah.
Fine.
Because yeah, he fell a long way.
Maybe. Where's
Yeah, just like
Brian?
imagine like an actual
That's
plane,
strange.
just like.
Yeah, it would have shattered.
He looks like he's wearing a diaper. Robo incontinence.
I've learned a great deal.
I can't take bathroom breaks. I'm the leader.
My time is now.
Just shoot already.
Autobot invader.
I like how there was an Autobot invader and who's making their ship crash, and Megatron still chose to shoot Starscream. And I don't blame him. I'm like, yeah, dude. Can't ever accuse Megatron of underselling it.
Mirage! You did it! You stopped the Decepticons!
Do I get a promotion? No. But we'll eat cake.
We're anxious to get
In
back
your
to
name.
Cybertron. But at least you could have waited for us. Sorry, Prime. The ship was full. Well done, Mirage.
Why was that funny?
Now, let's get back to the base. We have a ship
They have
repair.
I go back
an
to
extraterrestrial
Cybertron with
sense of humor.
Maybe you better ask your father.
How old is Spike to the point he has to ask his dad for permission to go somewhere?
He's supposed to be like 15 or 16.
And he's working in an oil rig? Is that legal?
It was Reagan era America, okay?
The Decepticon.
Oh, he's alive.
Well, there we go. That was the pilot to Transformers.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think?
I guess in theory the story would have been interesting, just like you have like these mechanical aliens trying to find a way to get back home with a whole bunch of collateral damage. But, you know, like slow pacing, I think it's more evident of its time where it's like it's not very polished.
Mm-hmm.
If someone said like, oh yeah, there's this new show called Transformers, and someone told me like the rough idea of it, just like that sounds interesting, but the execution wasn't exactly what it could have been. It's almost the same way how I feel about the first season of Star Trek, where it just like really needed to go through a few more editing processes.
To be clear, Star Trek TNG.
Sorry, yes, TNG.
Yeah, the first season of Star Trek TNG is also very rough.
But all in all, I totally see why kids were into this. Maybe not so much something I would have been personally interested in. I don't know, I really can't tell. I mean, I probably would be saying the same thing with Yu-Gi-Oh! Where it's just like, I wouldn't be into that, but I was obsessed with that show.
Well, you know, that's the thing, is that it is a very different era. You can kind of tell a lot of the time with Transformers going throughout the series, there's different forces at work. There's some writers who actually legitimately care about the show and the characters, and there's this cynical corporate America aspect to it that's like, we just want to sell toys, we really don't care much about the quality of the show. And those two forces, you can see them at play all the time in the original Transformers.
I think it'd be really cool as a kid that like you have this toy, like, hey, my toy's on TV!
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the thing, is that was so much of the novelty, is that these toys, which let's be fair, like these are great ideas for toys, because kids love toy cars, kids love toy robots. Put them together, you have Transformers.
What?
and it's proven to be really marketable because it's been going on for like well over 30 years. Actually, probably closer to 40 than 30 now. But this is very much the infancy of that. So it feels rough. It looks rough.
And yeah, it's allowed to be that way. I mean, like, it's a very promising starting point.
Yeah, and you can still kind of see there's cool concepts with the characters. You see he's real mean. Soundwave is the loyal, subservient guy. Starscream is the treacherous idiot.
Soundwave is the one I couldn't understand.
Yeah, you can understand. In the Autobots camp, they are a little less interesting. It's a little hard to tell, like, really the distinctive personalities between the different bots.
And that's the detriment when it comes to writing with so many characters, that you can't create these individual personalities that people become attached to. Just like, if there's so many, what is the purpose of having so many of these?
And I'll tell you the purpose. Get them toys off the shelf.
Exactly. So they couldn't write about it, and that sucks. Yeah.
What I will say is that this was, I would say, above average for a lot of the shows at the time.
Okay.
It was a very similar situation where Steve and I rented the pilot to Thundercats, and we watched that. And
Wait, Thundercats, that sounds familiar.
it was another big 80s property. With Thundercats, I guess that's a story for another day, but basically we watched the pilot and we were like, this makes no sense, that is stupid. Transformers, though, there's enough redeeming qualities, I would say. The series has high points and low points. Sometimes you could just tell, like, nobody cared. And they're just trying to, like, they had a number of episodes they just needed to get to make, and other times, you know, like, there were times where it's like, oh, you know what, that actually was pretty good. That has some poignant things to say.
So how long did this go on for, this original series?
4 seasons.
Oh.
Season 2 and Season 3 are divided by the movie. And so Seasons 3 and 4, there's a definite turning point because there's a big gap in time and it's almost like completely different characters. So it's almost like the movie counts as like a huge shift in the tone and the characterization of the show. Anything else you want to say?
Not so much. I mean, like, it's a kid's show.
It is definitely a kid's show.
Yeah. Unfortunately, not something I'm interested in really picking up, unlike The Tick. We watched a couple more episodes of that. Or like Star Trek TNG, where we are still watching. I freaking love that show.
To be honest, I wasn't expecting you to be like, yeah, let's watch more Transformers.
But it was nice to see something that like is kind of the origin of something you're so passionate about.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Fair enough.
And that's Allie hasn't. Well, Allie has now watched Transformers.
Yeah. Cool. And now I guess that means that maybe you're more prepared to watch the War of Cybertron on Netflix.
The one with that Rooster Teeth collaborated in.
Yeah.
So what's the next thing Allie hasn't done?
What is the next thing Allie hasn't done? Good question. We will round off the 90s trilogy and watch Muppets from Space.
There's another one! Yeah!
Because you know Starscream will just take the lead.
And then drive that to the ground.
He's gonna drive them into the ground faster than Donald Trump drove the United States.
Oh!